Now that we've transitioned from Chaturanga, bottom of the plank, into upward facing dog, let's look at how to hold upward facing dog on its own, how to take up the space of that posture. So let's start with Sphinx, just to set up some foundational patterns for upward facing dog, our very first back bend. Press down through the tops of the feet, lift the kneecaps, and reach back through the toes. Press the elbows down and towards you so that you get this feeling of pulling the heart forward through the shoulder blades. And so you're reaching the heart forward as you reach the big toes back, and that helps you to find lots of space through the front body. As you release and spread the back body, so we're not compressing and closing off the back body. So what does that feel like? We're pressing the elbows down and towards us, pressing the shoulders down as we reach the rib cage away from the hips and the big toes away from the hips. And then the back side of the body, we feel this internal rotation through the legs, and we keep that internal rotation moving out through the big toes. So it feels like, from the perspective of on top of our thighs, it looks like the top of the thighs are moving away from each other, which is internal rotation from the front side of the body. So take a moment to wrap your head around that if that was confusing. And then see if you can feel the glutes release. So the glutes can be turned on in back bends, but try not to let the glutes move towards each other, where they're super engaged, squeezing in towards the center, because that's going to create compression in the SI joint. And we want to leave lots of space through the lower back. So, having all of those pieces together, let's see if we can translate this into a little bit of a deeper expression. Move the hands back a little bit, hands pointing towards the corner of the mat, and we're going to do a lifted Sphinx. I don't know if that's what it's actually called, but it seems appropriate. And keep the elbows bent. Wrap the elbows in, press the shoulders down, press the tops of the feet down, legs are super strong, and then again, feel like you're dragging the hands towards you to help lift the rib cage away from the hips as you keep pressing down through the feet. And now check in with the glutes. Are you squeezing the glutes in towards the center? Feel that internal rotation through the legs, which also helps to spread the lower back. Okay, exhale, come down. And now we're going to go back into that and translate that into upward facing dog. So lift the Sphinx, tuck the toes, and then you're going to push into the toes to scoot the pelvis forward. And now we're in upward facing dog. You want to end up with the shoulders behind the wrists, a little bit behind the wrists, and keep the elbows micro bent. That's going to help you to tap back into that pattern of lifting the heart that we've been working with. And now you can keep the thighs on the floor, or you can press into the tops of the feet, lift the thighs, get a little bit more forward, lift the thighs, and feel into those patterns that we established in Sphinx, reaching back through the toes, diving the pubic bone back as you draw the lower belly in and lift the heart up away from the hips. Keep micro-bending the elbows, pressing the shoulders down the back. Don't squeeze the shoulder blades to close the back. Shoulder blades move away from each other and down the back as you micro-bend the elbows. All right. That was getting a little tiring, so I'm going to take a little break while I keep talking to you. So you're in upward facing dog, legs are strong, pubic bone is diving back, rib cage is lifting up, shoulders are moving down the back. Now, where does the gaze go? Some people like to look up, and some people like to gaze forward. Either way, I think, is okay. I think what should remain consistent is the gaze at the tip of the nose. But again, try it out, see how that feels. Gazing at the tip of the nose helps us to not engage too much and strain too much into the neck. We want to keep the back of the neck long and open. So if you are looking up, make sure you're not closing the back of the neck. Keep the back of the neck lifted. You're looking up, but you're lengthening and keeping the back of the neck open. And then if you're gazing forward, think about drawing the chin back and down a little bit to spread the base of the skull so that you can imagine this line of energy moving from the pelvis. You're moving it up into the space of the heart through the back bend, and you keep moving it up through the crown of the head. And so if the neck is in a weird position where you're like sticking your chin out or you're closing the back of the neck, that energetic pathway can get cut. So make sure you keep that nice and smooth, that pathway open for the energy to keep moving from the heart up through the crown of the head. And that can just be a visualization. That can be an actual experience that you tap into, whatever works for you to hold this posture with integrity. So if you're here, you can either be looking up, keeping the back of the neck long, or you can gaze forward, imagining the energy moving up through the crown of the head, also gazing at the tip of the nose. And all of that happens on a full inhale, and before we get ready to transition into the next posture.